So, I heard about something kind of crazy the other day. I knew it before, but it just never really, I just never really like thought about it. So, apparently, this is all speculation, but apparently, Ben Franklin was a part of a group called the Hellfire Club, a cult of very powerful people in Europe that engaged in uh, group intercourse. I'm trying to use YouTube friendly language for some reason they want us to do that, but and they also engaged in human sacrifice to the gods, which honestly made me feel weird because all that stuff with the guy in the island who works for our greatest ally, probably. I mean, you just can't help but wonder if that was always the case and we are just figuring that out now. Apparently. I don't know. I don't know for sure. But, when Thomas Jefferson, starts hanging out with 15, 16-year-old slave girls and, just and other, slave owners engaging in the same thing, except today, now, it's just very vulnerable, poor women who are on the island with the prince and the Xbox guy. That's kind of what led me to believe that the United States never really stood for freedom. Now, maybe for a while it did. You know, Back in the good old days of the Vietnam War when Martin Luther King and Cesar Chavez and Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Harvey Milk, all those people were alive, fighting and defending for what they believed in, for people who couldn't stand up for themselves at that time when it was considered unacceptable by the culture. Well, all that stuff happened and now we're kind of reverting. I think the thing that led to America's, not demise, but like when the dominoes started falling, was when 9/11 happened. And that's a conspiracy theory for another day. But something did change after 9/11 happened. That was like the first shift into the 21st century, was when the United States used that to invade the Middle East, Afghanistan and Iraq. Afghanistan in particular, Saddam Hussein wanted to sell Iraqi oil in euros rather than US dollars. And that was why we invaded Iraq. I mean, even when George H.W. Bush was president, there were wars. Like, we overthrew Noriega in Panama, and we also defended Kuwait from the Iraqi army. Like, even then, like, people weren't too afraid. Like, my dad told me when the Gulf War happened that only, like, one or two people were, like, freaking out. Because, the United States military pummeled the Iraqi military in 3 days. But, like, now, like, we stayed in Iraq for 20 years, Afghanistan, 20 years. That was longer than Vietnam. And Vietnam was a disaster. So those wars were a disaster. Now we got this thing going on with Iran, and Iran just said, fuck it. And now they're just dropping missiles on our greatest ally. And, I learned about all these things in school. About the founding fathers, about the Civil War, the abolition of slavery. And I just wondered, like, was there ever any real progress? Or was it just changed to suit the narrative? But it was still the same. Because with prisons, you know, slavery can be used as a punishment for a crime. And we have, well, like 1.5 million prisoners in the United States. More than any other country. Besides, like, maybe Russia. Like, China has less prisoners than us. And their population is almost 5 times more than America. Speaking of China, by the way, so my grandma and grandpa, they went on a trip throughout Asia. They went to Japan, Korea, and then they went to China. They stayed 2 nights in Shanghai. You know, Shanghai is a very beautiful city. Honestly, like, I've seen pictures, I'm just like, wow. They know where it's at. They're making a big jump. Because China, before Mao Zedong, at least, I mean, during, like, first part of the 20th century, like, it wasn't, they were still kind of an agricultural society. They were kind of like Russia, you know, like that type of society, farming, not as industrialized. And then, you know, my grandfather tells me that portraits of Mao, Chairman Mao, are everywhere. You know, he's on all the money. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. And I'm just like, we worship George Washington the same way. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, his face is carved into the side of a mountain in South Dakota. There are statues of him everywhere. I don't think I can name a town in the United States that doesn't have a street named after George Washington. We named our capital city after him, too. And there are other founding fathers. Thomas Jefferson's on the $2 bill. Granted, it's not as popular anymore. Abe Lincoln, he deserves to be on the $5 bill. Now Trump wants to put his face on a $250 bill, which I think will just fuck up the American economy even more. But you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying George Washington was the worst guy ever. I mean, he made the presidency what he wanted, which was regulated, which I think was good. Like, an executive leader can't have all the power, and now we're just reverting, and we still look at him like a god. So, how is Mao any different? Like, he founded communist China. I'd imagine his face would be everywhere. George Washington was the main founding father. He was the first president. He organized the government into the way he felt was right. It just blows my mind how people are so caught in this American cycle, this American dream cycle. That's what I'm going to call it, the American dream cycle, where you idolize the country, you make it, you do what you can, and you learn everything, and you go to work, and you don't really accomplish much. That's what the American dream is now. It's not real. It's fairy dust. But, like, you guys understand what I mean? Like, was it always like this? Like, we worship these powerful people in our society. Like, and even, like, the robber barons back then, like Carnegie, Vanderbilt, Rockefeller, like, they gave all their stuff away. When they were older, at least. I mean, Carnegie pushed for public libraries. And at least that dude worked hard. I mean, Zuckerberg created Facebook as a like a communication app or website for Harvard students, and then it turned into this fucking escapade of media, and nobody knows what to believe anymore. I don't know what to believe. That's why I deleted all my social media, because American politics is just so messed up. It is just a nightmare. Oh man, I just got out of the shower. It's just a nightmare, and people now are breaking up with their families on political differences, spouses, friends. Like, that's how bad it is. There are two Americas now. Granted, I do have my own beliefs. I have, mainly progressive, but I have a few contradictory beliefs. But it's not even like that bad. Like, I've met liberals who like guns too. I've met people people on the conservative side who have the same beliefs as me, because I'm a blue collar guy. I worked in a factory for a long time. I'm probably gonna try and find another job soon, but I just needed a break. Like, that was the main reason why I quit this current job that I just had. Like, I just couldn't take it anymore. But I don't know what to believe. I don't know what the hell is happening anymore. The government tells us one thing, I hear something else, and it's just blah, 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 and everybody goes insane. It's like when you take two groups of ants, or a group of ants, and you shake the container they're in, and they all start trying to kill each other. That's what's going on right now. Except they're telling us things. They're sponsoring events that are pissing us off. While they take all the money. The 1890s is here, but on a digital level. And now that the United States government has all of our information with our social security numbers and our credit score, like, what's next? They have more power than people realize. And I mean, it's just nothing we can do. I mean, unless, the ants overpower the queen, perhaps. Ape alone weak, apes together strong. The United States of America, in my opinion, was never really about the people. The founding fathers who founded this country were very powerful men in their time. They were influential in British and colonial politics. Like Ben Franklin. Dude was an inventor. He was a businessman. Samuel Adams. Jonathan Adams. Thomas Jefferson. Like, they were all highly educated, powerful men in the colonies. Like, they weren't just random people who were pissed off. And by the way, they started a revolution because their taxes from the British Empire went to 3%. They were taxed 3% of their wealth. 3%. And they are so angry that people want to tax them today like 50% more. And I'm just like, I wonder how much they actually pay in taxes. Like, genuinely, how much do they pay? We don't even know. But it's just so funny. The founding fathers started a revolution on a 3% tax on tea. 3% tax in general. New taxes without representation, right? Well, my people today are being taxed, well, at least in my state, my taxes, after tax, it's like 27%. I'm taxed like 27% of my wealth. And everybody's just fine. And people are struggling. People are not happy. They're just not happy. Like me. And as much as I want to change everything, I can't. Like, we have to roll with it, and it fucking sucks. I don't know what to do. Dude, I guarantee you, like, they're going to become, like... You know how communism, people are like, oh, the government controls everything. Maybe. But I compare Stalin's Soviet Union to today. Except instead of him having supreme authority via the state, the president now has supreme authority via the monopolies. And I mean, Amazon is the prime example. Amazon is the company I am most worried about because they just took over the retail market entirely. I mean, stores I grew up going to, like Sports Authority, Shopko, stores like that. You remember those stores? Radio Shack, Blockbuster. Like stores we grew up going to are gone. Hastings. And the grocery stores and like department stores that exist now, like Dick's Sporting Goods, TJ Maxx, Old Navy, Nordstrom, like Sears is gone. I imagine Macy's or JCPenney will be next. I mean, they're already closing stores across the country. Domino's, food companies like Domino's, Wendy's, KFC, Sonic, like, they're closing. Locations are closing. They closed, I think, it was Wendy's that closed 450 locations last year. I imagine what's going to happen this year. I mean, Domino's closed 300. Papa John's. Like, all these companies that defined our childhood that we could choose to go to, they're no longer going to exist. And now Amazon's gonna deliver our pizza from Pizza Hut. You know, that's the world I see. And I would not be surprised with how subscriptions are going. I would not be surprised if Taco Bell or McDonald's or other department stores just like started charging subscriptions. Like, oh yeah, $200 a month, unlimited Taco Bell, unlimited quesaritos, bean burritos, Doritos Locos Tacos, like unlimited. Or like, you have to pay to go there now. You know what I mean? Like, you pay $20 a month so you can get Taco Bell. It's going to be one of the two. Probably the latter. Because if you just offered like a $200 subscription for unlimited Taco Bell, the lines would be fucking... They would be down the block all the time. Business would be booming. And they would lose money. So maybe it's the second one. Kind of like how Costco does it. You know how you have to pay for a membership? I think something similar will happen with that. And honestly, like, as much as I... Sorry, my neighbor. Like, as much as I, like... I... There's nothing we can do about this. I mean, it's already gonna happen. Which leads me to my, kind of my final tidbit here. I mean, I see videos of all of you struggling. Like, really, I do. This dude, he was just sitting in his car, he's crying, and he's just like, I just can't do this anymore. I'm door dashing 12 hours a day. And I'm just like, dude, I can barely do that for like 3. I see all of you struggling like me. Like, I can't buy food. Like, that cup of noodles and that Gatorade, that's what I'm living off right now. I mean, I got my reusable orange juice jug with Gatorade. So it makes me wonder what's going to happen later on. And honestly, I think I know. I don't know for sure, but what I think is going to happen over these next 12 months, maybe 2-3 years, we'll see. But people are going to just slowly be, more of their wealth and power is going to be taken away. Just very slowly over the next 12, 18 months. And I think that's what their plan was all along. The American elites, the American enclave. Like, I think what they want is for us to starve. And then, some French Revolution type shit will happen. The guillotines will be brought out. And then they will declare martial law. I think that's what's going to happen. That is what is going to solidify capitalist, feudalist, monopolist dominance. That's what's going to turn my country, a country I was taught and believed for a while stood for freedom. A country I was taught to salute the flag, read the Constitution, honor those who died, which I do. But I do not honor the ones who send them. I'll say one last thing. Listen to BYOB by Sode. System of a Down. That has just never hit harder. That song until now. I mean, it was in response to the war in Iraq, and those guys, they're Lebanese, they're Armenian. So this is just crazy. All this shit is crazy. What's going on? And honestly, I don't know if I can take it much anymore either. But we'll see. Maybe things will look up, but I don't see anything looking up anytime soon, given the current situation in the Middle East and how the United States is threatening our island neighbors close by, and how it's just not going to be good. Prepare yourselves. Buy dry food, a bunch of dry food, like this. It lasts a while, and it's cheaper than 20-pound ground beef containers. Like $20 for 2 pounds of ground beef is fucking insane. That is fucking insane. So, anyway, that's all I got. I'm probably going to do this on my computer more often because, my phone can only handle so much storage. But yeah, those are my thoughts for the day. And I appreciate you guys for watching. There isn't that many of you, but, it just feels good to let it out, man. I want to treasure what we have for these last few moments before. Anyway, so, yeah. But if things really do go to shit, we have to stick together as best we can. And I'm going to do that with my loved ones who, still see me as me and not a nut job communist. Because if I feed the poor, they call me a saint. But if I ask why the poor are hungry, they call me a communist.